and welcome to this tutorial video on preparing the annotation table files for AutoGaitA Simi. I'm showing you the template file here that we also provide in the repository, and the idea is to use this template to fill it out with your timestamp information and to then use the example file that I'll also show in the end of this video to check correct formatting. Now looking at the table, we see that the first column is called ID and it's used for entering subject IDs at the very first row. So where it says enter ID here, just the row after ID for also all other parts is used to enter ID. So for example, if we have some subject with the ID 10, we just write 10 here. Now the condition column can be used just for yourself to keep track of your groups or conditions. However, it's not used by our toolbox. Just make sure that if you have a number of conditions, that if you have more than one person or animal with the ID 10, let's say you have two groups and in each of the groups there's a person that has the ID 10, make sure to store each group's data set in a separate folder, because otherwise if you have two people with the ID 10 in this table as well as your data folder, our toolbox will get confused and will not know which of the two 10s you want to analyze. Now the leg column informs about which leg performed the step cycles. So which leg is meant with these time values that we will enter here. And if you have some other behavior, that just means which body side performed this action or this behavior that you're interested in. Now, most importantly for the Simi annotation tables is that the rows above the first run's values are always kept empty. So where it says keep this row empty, delete these, you delete this. And this is the case for each leg. So if we look at the right leg, it again says keep this row empty, delete these, and you delete these and keep these rows empty. Now, the run column for AutoGaitA Simi means the time period before the first turn. So for AutoGaitA Simi we have people or animals walking back and forth, and the first run means, so if we have run 1 here, it means that it's the time period from which the person, for example, started at some corner of the room, for example, and walked until the other corner of the room, then turned around and walked back. So in this time period from starting until the first turn, let's say this person performed 3 step cycles, and now we use the swing TI, swing TE, and stance TE columns to enter the time information of these 3 step cycles. So let's say the first step started from 1.0 seconds and ended at 1.5 seconds. So this is the start of the swing phase was at 1 second. The end of the stance phase was at 1.5 seconds. You can use the swing TE column to write down the end of swing phases, let's say 1.2. However, that is not used by our toolbox. So again, this is just for yourself to keep track of things. And if you have some other behavior that you're interested in, again, just use the swing TI for the start of that behavior for this given occurrence, and the stance TE column for the end of that behavior for this given occurrence. If you don't have people walking back and forth and you just have some behavior that is continuous without like these interruptions of turning, then you just use the run 1 row for all your occurrences in your data. So now we repeat this procedure for like the other steps. Let's say that this second step was from 1.51 to 2 seconds, and the swing phase ended at 1.7 or so. And then you continue doing this for all runs of all legs of all subjects, making sure that again these rows before a new leg starts are always empty, and that the ID of subjects is written in the row immediately after where it says ID. So for example, for the second subject, that would be here. Now, if we continue to do this, we get something like this. Again, seeing that ID values are always written immediately under ID. We have some young condition in this example. And again, importantly, you can see that this row is kept empty and this row is kept empty. If you have more than 3 runs for your data, you can see it here. You would just have to like copy paste some cells to make yourself more room.